So in this video, so in the last video, I was saying that making love is like it's I think many people enjoy it because it's the highest control, and it's also losing control at the same time. In all positions, it's complete control and it's complete lack of control, and that combination is very out is very it's very thrilling. And then you add on top of that like a cool person or a person that you're attracted to, or a person that you respect, and it's yet more so brilliant. And then on top of that, you're going past the point of no return, and it's more thrilling. And you can have a person come about that looks like you, if you would like to have like a family, and it's more awesome. Or you can change from it and you become a different person from it, and you have a metamorphosis from it, and you're also humbled by it, and you're also get confidence from it. So it's yet more thrilling. So it's totally thrilling. But then you also have the, so you can, but you can go to you it can sex can bring life, and it can also bring death, because what can bring good can bring bad. What can bring fortune can bring loss. What can bring life can bring death, and sex is the same way. But what I want to say is that that's actually going towards my point, which is that so I made the other video that when people are making love or even just kissing or holding hands, they're sharing germs. And according to a person that I came across in the men's space, is that that's what's so intoxicating about falling in love. It had actually been the sharing of germs. You could maybe say intellectual germs, germs of personality, germs of fragrance, germs of a company, or germs of body fluids. But it's still germs that's making people fall in love. It's the subtle influences or traces of a person, the essence of a person that's left lingering on another person to make them, to different degrees, become one another and take on one another and go forward with one another, is what's so awesome about making love. But it's still sharing germs. And anything can come across when two people come together, good and bad, and anything will come across good and bad, even as friendships. Any person we're around will take on them, the good and the bad of them. So if they have a lot of bad, and if they have certain things that are bad in them, we'll take some of that bad with us. If they have good things that are good, we'll take some of that good with us. And that's brilliant. That's just real. It's not good or bad. It's just real. So I was saying that, but also but one thing that can come with that is getting sick. And I got very sick the other day from food poisoning, and I just wanted to put that out there into the ethers. It's not to avoid that, because sometimes we bring on what we're trying to avoid. But I think just being aware of that, and just remembering what it is to be sick, it's just part of maturity and being an adult and making adult decisions, is understanding all and sometimes experiencing all of what comes with decisions, is all I'm saying with that. But to that point is that when people are making love, it's not entirely different than a wolf eating a deer, where the deer is sustaining the wolf, and by the wolf existing, the wolf can further uh, um, uh, the wolf can make viable the life of deer by both potentially fighting other wolves that would otherwise attack or other predators, seldom, that would otherwise attack the deer from different angles at different at different circumstances. Or it can check other deer that would otherwise be a competition to the deer, such as competition in mating or competition in feeding. So the deer is yet making viable in a service to the deer, and then the deer is also sustaining the wolf. And making love is similar like that, where in making love, one partner maybe both partners are sacrificing themselves to the other. One may be sacrificing in terms of like humbling themselves with the other partner, or pleasing the other partner, at the greatest sense, taking on the child of the other partner. But then the other partner is sacrificing because now they're associated with that, and there's different gifts and obligations that come by associating with the person. So both are really sacrificing to one another, not greater or less, just different. And that actually, I was thinking today that maybe totem poles should actually be sideways, because what's higher on a totem pole is not completely higher in all respects. It is just different. So some things about two different positions on a totem pole are higher and lesser than the other. And that's why I was thinking that actually really nothing is really higher or lower. It's just different. So the wolf the wolf is not higher than the deer or better than the deer, and the deer is not higher than the wolf or better than the wolf, but in certain respects they are greater or lesser in certain to certain purposes than the other, but they're yet not possible with the other, and they're a part of one another. So they're actually different parts of the same being. And I think that's what it is with two lovers, is that two lovers are actually the same person, and they are not greater or lesser than the other. In some respects they are more suited to some respects to different duties, and those amount to the dynamic duties that make life viable. I was thinking to that line is that if you consider like children, like so I was wondering, like, so what is actually maturity? What is maturity? I think that and I think that maybe Nassim Nicholas Taleb would agree. Nassim Nicholas Taleb said that he has the things that he respects the most, similar to Arthur Avalon. Arthur Avalon said that what he respects the most, even as he studied a lot of great, profound spiritual insights in India and terms in language, is that Arthur Avalon just simply admires a man's man. And he cited one of his friends who he considered a man's man. What Nassim Nicholas Taleb commends is someone who is brave intellectually, and also someone who respects who and what is vulnerable. That is what is outstanding to Nassim Nicholas Taleb. I think he mentioned one more thing, but he said that. So from those two men's standpoint, especially Nassim Nicholas Taleb, we can say that respect for what is small or little or vulnerable is what maturity is. And some people have said, there's a YouTuber named Tony Gaskins, and he said that in his experience, he's appreciated a difference in the development between boys and girls. One is not greater or lesser than the other, but one is different. And he said that sometimes when with he has I think I don't want to talk about his family, but he's more familiar with boys, but his he has been around children who are females, and he said that some of the boys he knows who are brilliant, like strong with math and stuff like that, the females he knows that are small were striking to him in terms of their verbal development at a small age. The girls were more had a greater facility with language, but I think that might not only be true at the small level. Is that a lot of women are very strong around language. A lot of times, I was just talking to a girl in my apartment building, and I was recommending to her a book, a small book that can help a person with writing. It's called Elements of Style. She said, "Oh yeah, I read that in school, but I'm actually a really strong writer." And I believed her, but that actually might be a function of being a female. And I don't mean to be sexist with that, but just that females have a facility with language that is, I think that's been documented. And it would have to do with evolutionary rigors, which men and women are not different, but they have different evolutionary rigors, both around sexual, like procreation. There's different demands and rigors and dynamics for a male than a female, but then also the rigors of living and the challenges of living in safety and providing are different between men and women. So they therefore have different strengths. And one with females is verbalism, like such as I've referenced females I've met who are strong with taking notes, and my mother was very strong with languages and interested in languages in college. But then also part of that and part of what makes communication viable is empathy. And I think that we can say, generally speaking, that women are empathy as a feature in the talent that attends motherhood. The author Arthur Avalon says that it's an Indian adage that there have been bad fathers that have been born, but there have not been bad mothers. There might have been poor mothers, but not bad mothers. So mothers that are detrimental, they're detrimental to a child. That might be a function of different forms of poverty in the mother's life, that either in how she's been treated or reared or the resources. But mothers have been maybe poor but not bad. But all I meant to say is that women have empathy as a form of motherhood, generally speaking, and in children, sometimes female children can be respectful to small creatures more so than a male child, and from that standpoint would be more mature sooner.